Hello, my name is Sadako, and I'm a recruiter with Lutheran Senior Services. And today I'm actually going to speak to you about some resume tips, some interview tips, and a little bit about soft skills. So I'm not going to keep you guys long. I'm going to go over some of my notes, and I hope this can help you with your future. So the first thing that is very important and you start the interview process is when you actually apply to our position. So what we ask for is that when you are filling out the application, you are filling out the full application. If it's asking for work history because you have not submitted a resume, we need that information, okay? If you're saying I have 20 years experience, I'm not asking all back to 20 years, but give us at least the last 7 years of experience. That kind of helps us to kind of see what all you have learned and the skills you have gained. So usually most jobs are actually having people set up phone interviews where you speak to a recruiter, and from there the recruiter is going over your resume, and they're asking you the same questions that you did write down. The reason why is because we want to make sure that you know what you wrote down, and that you have the proper dates. And if you do not, if the dates are a little bit fuzzy, you cannot remember because it was so many years ago, just let the recruiter know. It's not a problem. And that can actually help us let the manager know that, hey, it was approximately about this time when the person left. Okay. So from there, when you're on the phone, when you actually set up your phone interview, make sure you write down the date, put it in your smartphone, put a reminder 30 minutes before your interview. Get yourself prepared in a quiet environment, whether that's your car, whether that's outside, whether that's in the bathroom because your children are home. Wherever you can go to be able to focus on the questions that are being asked of you. Okay. And then from there, you want to make sure that you are clear minded. If you don't understand a question, ask them to repeat this themselves. Okay. All right, sorry. And then so from there, we want you to make sure you have the information in front of you to refer back to. There's many times I'm speaking to people about their job and their skills, and like they're saying, hold on, I need to find my resume. Have that prepared, okay? So then from there, when the recruiter does decide to move forward with you and set you up for an on-site interview, have that date down in your calendar. They will send you a confirmation email, but make sure you still have it in your phone, okay? So you do not forget. Once the recruiter sends you a confirmation email, be looking out for it so that you can reply back and let us know you have received this information. There's many times we are trying to find the email response from what we have sent to you all, and we're calling you constantly. And this is important information so that when you arrive to the campus, you know where to go, you know who you need to ask for, and you know the position that you're interviewing for. Okay. So another thing, now we're going to move on to on-site interviews. So when you come to an on-site interview, it starts as soon as you get on that community or that job location. How you're driving. Are you paying attention to our stop signs, our pedestrian walks? Are you driving the speed limit? You never know who is watching, and I always tell people that. So from there, you also need to know that when you go speak to the receptionist, everyone's watching. You don't know if the manager walked past you and you decided not to say hi. That could have been the manager. Okay. The manager probably didn't even know that was you. So you have to make sure you're showing that customer service, because a lot of what everyone does is customer service. So we're all looking for that, because would you speak to a family member? Would you speak to a resident? So those are things we're looking for. And as you're waiting for that manager, make sure your phone is put away. You're not searching the web. You're not looking for this. Whatever you need to do, if you need to respond to a text, do it in the car before you come onto the campus inside the building. And then from there, when you're meeting with the manager, you could say hi, shake a hand. During the interview, you want to make sure that you are focused on your job skill. Even during the phone interview, focus on the job and what you have brought to the table. Focus on the question. If you don't understand the question, ask them to rephrase it. That is okay. Please refrain from oversharing. Talking about your family, that's personal things that should not be shared. Okay, think of that as keeping it dear to your heart. That only information you would share is because you know the person, you trust the person with this information, okay? So make sure you're focusing on the job, on the company, questions about the company, questions about your role, where you're going to be working at, the environment. Um, so focus on that. If a manager just tried to speak to you about something else, like how you're going to get to work, you have reliable transportation, and keep it simple as that, okay? All right. Next thing, dressing up. I know a lot of right now in this day and age, we don't have the slacks and the business shirts like we used to when I was interviewing for a lot of jobs. But here's the thing, Goodwill has it, resale shops have it. There's a lot of other resale shops that keep the clothes clean. You can go and get there for $2 to $3 for some slacks if you need to. If you're interviewing for any nursing role, such as CNA, CMT, LP, and RN, wear your scrubs. We don't care if it's your school scrubs, just wear those scrubs. That's the safest thing that you can do. If you're interviewing for any other role, a button-up shirt. We're not exposing, women, we're not exposing ourselves at the top. We are keeping it clean. Things are not super tight on you. And so that's important. But if you ever have questions, speak to the recruiter and ask them the question. We're willing to help you with that. So the other part I want to talk about is resume tips. So with your resume, resumes can change depending on the job, the position, the job, which I mean the organization or company, and also the role that you're interviewing for or trying to get a job for, interview for. And so it can vary depending on if it's leadership. Look at the job description, look at your resume. Make sure that what's in the job description you have done. If you have not done it, do not put it in the resume because we will question you about that, especially the managers. So if you haven't worked with a certain software, do not put that in there just because you saw it on the job description, because we expect that. Because if we ask questions about it, you're not able to speak to that, that's called falsification of application on your application. And I would hate for you to lose a job because you really want to get this job and you put that information. If you don't know how to do it, that's okay. If you have made it to the interview process, obviously we see other things in you that we can help you learn that skill, learn that software. Okay, so make sure you're looking at that. And I'm willing to work with people one-on-one to kind of help with that. And we can look at the job description together and I can kind of explain it in better detail. But I will say that all the roles that I've had with this company, my job description did vary because it needed to fit what they were looking for. Some things I took off, some things I left on, okay? So let's see. And then after the interview, I did forget to mention this. If you want to reach back out to the manager, ask them, how long should I wait before I reach out to you? And that's okay to ask, okay? Another thing I do want to talk about is when asking about salary, it's an iffy gray area. So if they ask you about the salary, tell them the range that you can stay within, okay? The best thing I would say is do not say, well, how much you gonna pay me? Because it goes deeper than that. Once a manager wants to make an offer, it has to go to the HR department, where the HR department is then looking at your resume, looking at your work history, calculating any certifications, how long you've had it. There's a formula that goes to it. And then from there, they're having that discussion with the HR manager and saying, okay, this is what we want to offer. Is this something that's okay with you? They're approving it. But when you come off and say, well, how much you gonna pay me? That kind of looks like you're focused more on the pay than you are focused on the job itself. So if they ask you, you talk about a range. Most of our applications do ask. That's the range. The manager already knows it when you're sitting down for an interview. They already have that information. So you don't have to try to ask that question because also there's a lot of perks and benefits that also come with accepting a role with us. So and differentials and bonuses. There's so many things that can factor into that. That's the reason why it's not appropriate to ask in an interview. Now, if HR calls you and it's a number that's lower than what you can take, have that conversation with them because maybe they are missing a job because you have 20 years of experience, but they're only looking at 7 years. So that's a conversation you can have. And then last but not least, we're talking about different soft skills to have. Communication, whether that's orally, whether that's in a text message, and whether that's in an email. Make sure you're communicating. When a recruiter says, I'm going to send you a confirmation email, or HR manager tells you, I'm going to send you your background check link, I need you to complete that and set your um, appointments up to go get your physical or whatever that may be, respond. Don't just read the email and keep on going. That shows us how you're able to communicate. If you can communicate well with us, we know you can communicate well with our residents. Teamwork, learning how to work with conflict management, active listening, not always speaking over everyone and trying to prove your point, but listen to what they are saying and then respond. How do you adapt in this time? We're in a tough time right now where we have to limit our visit. We have no visitors at this time coming on our campuses. So are you willing to adapt to the change? How are you going to adapt? We have to entertain our residents. They're not able to go outside right now as far as in the community, going on field, different trips that we may have. And so what can we do to adapt and still help them live life to the fullest? And if you can adapt to that, you know how to make different decisions in tough times. That is wonderful. If you're not able to, we can work on that. Okay. It's not the end of the world. And being able to problem solve, work with other people that are think and act differently than you. That's the world. People are not going to think the same as you. So how do you work within those different personalities that we could also help you with? Time management, getting your work done before your shift is over, doing your best to keep that on a good schedule. And if someone wants to stop and talk to you, you can respectfully speak to them for a few seconds and let them know, hey, I really got to get back because the next shift, I don't want to leave them having to complete my work. Thinking about those things. It's okay to tell someone, I really have to get back to work. That shows how focused you are, your work ethic. And then paying attention to detail. And at the end of the day, too, we are all leaders in some form of fashion. Whether you are a DON or a manager or whatever that may be, you are still a leader in some aspect. You're leading your team, or you're just leading by example. People are watching you. You never know who's watching you and what they can appreciate from learning from you. So Erica will give you more information, how to contact me. You can text me, email me. You will also get some information about all of the locations that we do have. We are a very large long-term care community, and we do a lot for our residents and been doing this for over 160 years. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm willing to work with you and help you land an interview with our location, any of our locations or our company. And I'm so excited that I was able to do this since I couldn't be there this week. So take care, and you guys stay safe. Love on your loved ones, and have a great day. Bye.